Welcome to the BlizzShow, brought to you by New Wave Productions. I am Tom Terhar. All season long, we're going to sit down with a member of the St. Cloud Blizzard, talk about their hometown as well as their youth hockey experience, as well as talk about the games coming up and the games from the previous weekend. Today on the show with me is goaltender number one, Tyler Bost. Tyler, thanks for being on with me.
Yeah, appreciate it, Tom.
Tyler, well, obviously, NAHL Central Division honorable mention star of the week this week with his 3-2 win against the Minot Minotauros in Minot, and also received a nickname from yours truly, Tyler the Bost. That's not the easiest one to say.
No, it's not.
But Tyler, first of all, we'll talk a little bit about where you're from. Mahwah, New Jersey, quite a name. What's the town like? Is it a big hockey town?
It's a pretty big town itself. Hockey-wise, I mean, there's definitely a pretty good following. It's not the main sport there, but I mean, it's definitely one of the top three, I'd say, in the town.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And obviously, you play goalie. I mean, in that area, you have an absolute treasure trove of goalies around you. Martin Brodeur, Henrik Lundqvist. When DiPietro was healthy, he was always fun to watch. Which one of those guys did you look up a lot to?
I think for me, at least, it was definitely Lundqvist because that was kind of my time frame. He came in like 2005. That's when I was 5, I guess. So that's when I started really watching hockey more, and definitely going to the Rangers game with my uncle and seeing him. It's pretty cool. One of the best to ever do it. So.
No, that's for dang sure. That's for sure. Talk a little bit about your youth hockey experience. So, I mean, you kind of bounced around a little bit from Ohio to Massachusetts, back to New Jersey. I mean, talk about what that life was like and kind of how it's kind of affected you, I guess.
Okay. So I guess I started playing hockey when I was 9, so it's kind of late.
A little bit late.
A little bit late. I remember, like, one of the first days I ever went on the ice. It was our last day of 3rd grade on a field day. My mom picked me up, and I had a lesson, just learned how to skate. And then first ever time I got pads was like October 31st, my mom's birthday. And
wow.
Yeah, I remember that one, used pads, and I don't know, that's how I got into goalie, just loved the equipment. And yeah, and then kind of went from there and started playing single A, and then made a jump to triple A. And then when I got into high school, like sophomore year, was my last year in New Jersey at home, and then went to Ohio. And definitely as a 16-year-old moving away, it was definitely tough, but I think I definitely was able to become a lot more mature and have a lot more life lessons than the average, 16-year-old at that time. And now being 19, it's like lived in a lot of different places, can adapt very quickly to whatever atmosphere.
And you had to adapt this season. You were in Topeka, and you went to the NCDC. Then you came right back here into the NAHL to St. Cloud. Talk about just the whirlwind of this year, and kind of were you happy to get the call from St. Cloud? I know you knew, our assistant coach Casey knew a little bit about you. Talk a little bit about this year.
It's definitely been crazy. Yeah, starting in Topeka was definitely a good experience there, but coming here, I definitely was really excited, and Mo kind of talked to me, and same with Casey. And Casey's from the town next to me in New Jersey, so knew my goalie coach from back home, and it's definitely very happy to be out here and lucky to be here.
We're happy to have you after Saturday. That's for dang sure. 47 saves on 49 shots. We'll go back to a little bit. You started hockey late. 9 years old is late to start skating and to start playing at a competitive level. Talk about, do you feel like you're 100% caught up? Was there ever a point where you thought, I'm never going to catch up? I mean, talk about kind of that being behind feeling.
Yeah, probably when I first started playing, I was a left wing, and for me, like, then it was like a really big change, just like getting up, even like house league, just getting up to that pace. And then when I was a goalie, it started to become a little bit easier for me, and I really quickly like adapted and went from house league to single A. So it was kind of a big jump for me. And then I don't know if you've ever heard of like Quebec Pee Wee tournament. Made that, and then made like a few selects teams, went to Sweden with like our USA Hockey District, and just started going from there. I mean, now I think there's definitely still a lot for me to continue to develop, and there's a lot of stuff to improve on. But yeah.
I mean, they do call this the goalie league. There's been a lot of guys that come here and are playing in the NHL on a weekly basis, which is absolutely crazy. But, I mean, it's fun to see the goalies come in here and do well. And you had a great second start of the season on Saturday for sure. Talk a little bit about the mindset of a goalie. I feel like there's pretty much two schools of thoughts. There's one guy who kind of absorbs the pressure of being a goalie where it's all on you, and there's another guy that deflects it and tries to just push it away and power through it. Who are you? Do you absorb and really embrace the pressure of everything's on you, or what's your?
For me, at least, I've been working on just kind of. It's gonna sound a little bit weird, but like just not caring as much about it. Like if I let up, let's say 10 goals in a game, like you just gotta learn from it. You can't. It's supposed to be fun. You gotta watch the video and go to practice with the right attitude. And I think if I put too much pressure on myself, I'm just not gonna perform. And like for Minot, for example, like you have a lot of fans there, and if you're like, oh, you let that get in your head and kind of, I think for me, I would just be tough. I think just let it flow and just have fun and try not to overthink anything.
Mentally tough as well as physically. Yeah, for sure. And I think that's good. Growing up, I was always told short-term memory loss is the greatest attribute that a goalie can have. And if you forget about it, it's going to help you out in the long run of a game for sure. Talk a little bit about, you've been in St. Cloud now for a month plus. I mean, talk about the city a little bit. Are you liking it? Do you like your billet family?
Yeah, I like my billet family. Chris, he's a great guy. Definitely the city itself, I like it. Like coming to the rink. Mac's a nice place. St. Cloud, I've been getting a little bit used to it, seeing some different areas, definitely eating some different food, going around. So it's been pretty cool.
I mean, you're used to the big city life. I mean, you lived in a suburban cities type place, but I mean, St. Cloud is kind of probably a little bit different because you drive up and there's farms, trees, and then all of a sudden, St. Cloud, it's right here. So it's an interesting place for sure. Tyler, talk a little bit about the friends you've already made on this team. Obviously, you're close together. You're with each other every single day. Who have you kind of came close to in just this short month?
I think Zach. He's my stallmate.
Okay.
Definitely spent some time together. He's a good guy.
Both East Coast guys.
Yeah,
I mean, that makes sense.
I graduated actually from high school in Massachusetts, like the town next to him. So
oh, really?
About that a little bit. Him, I think, definitely getting to know Bud and Captain, definitely. I think just Suki comes over to our house, our billet house a lot, Hatcher, so yeah.
That's good. That's good. Tyler, talk a little bit about who your hero is. So I know there's obviously Henrik Lundqvist, he's your hero on this. Who's your hero just of you as a person?
That's a tough one. I mean, I think there's a lot of different people I have influenced me in a lot of ways. Like my dad, my mom, definitely two people I really look up to and see how much work they've put in to get where they are in life, and my dad's business and stuff. So them, and then I think more in the hockey kind of aspect, I think like a lot of my goalie coaches, like 3 or 4 of them, just being able to learn from them and really develop and help me along the way and help me find teams and just help develop my game and saw some potential in me. And then I think from like a player, like NHL type guy, I mean, if I have to look up to someone, I'd probably say definitely be someone like Lundqvist. I think just growing up watching him and seeing kind of, I know, like his work ethic and that, and it's pretty cool to see.
Tyler, tell us, I mean, you told me before this interview that you've never actually had your own custom-made goalie mask. No. Never. Always been like a solid color. I mean, if you were to have a mask for the Blizzard, what would be on it?
Oh, that's a good one. So the back plate, I know for sure, I'd have a picture of Conor McGregor on the back. It's just his face. Definitely intimidation factor right there.
Jeez.
I think I'd have to have like the logo probably on either side of the mask, and then maybe on the middle, just like going across like Blizzard or something like that. Then maybe something to do with like St. Cloud State, like on the bottom here, something like that. Yeah, and just have like, you know, team colors, but definitely Conor McGregor on the back. I think
what is that? Is that
I'm a big UFC fan, and I've always thought about that. Like if I were to get a helmet, I want like something to do with like just Conor McGregor, like his face, just on the back of it.
I mean, all right, that's as good an answer I could have asked for.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor on the back plate. I love it.
There's a picture of like his face that I was thinking of. That's like him like screaming or something. That the back plate.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be cool.
That'd be really
Also,
good.
this guy like Kimbo Slice. He's like this big.
Oh, I know Kimbo Slice. Everyone knows
I thought
Kimbo
about
Slice.
getting him too. That would be sick.
He's got a cooler face for it. I feel like.
He would be really cool.
It'd be like pretty much Mr. T on the back of your helmet. Tyler, talk a little bit about, your family. Mom and dad, do you have any siblings, close to any cousins? Does everyone play hockey in your family, or are you kind of the lone wolf?
That's a good question. Yeah, I'm actually an only child.
Okay.
My parents both never played hockey. My dad's best friend is an avid Devils fan.
Okay.
Gave me like a hockey card, my River rookie card when I
There
was
you go.
young. And then my uncle, when he was younger, played a little bit of hockey, but he quit. And avid Rangers fan. And I think what really started me definitely would be going to some Rangers games, but I think I was actually playing baseball at the time. And one of my friends on the team, he was the goalie for our town team, and there was like the street hockey league, and I joined in, and then one thing led to another, and I started playing hockey. And
Did you have to do any convincing, really, to convince your parents to let you play hockey, or were they on
no,
board?
they were okay with it. They always, whatever I wanted to play, they were usually pretty cool with it.
What other sports did you play growing up?
I played a lot. I played soccer, basketball. I swam for a little bit. I think when I was really young, I did tennis. In middle school, I played lacrosse for like all 3 years.
Okay.
I was the fenceman, so yeah.
Oh, that's long pole?
Yeah, long
long
pole.
pole.
Yeah.
I know my lacrosse.
Yeah.
I know my lacrosse good enough. Oh, that's awesome. Tyler, what would be your dream landing spot? I mean, obviously the goal in this is to get a college scholarship someday. I mean, where are the places that you've grown up looking at that you've wanted to play at?
I think when I was when I was younger, I think I was in 7th grade with our AAA team. We went to like a Boston College game, and I remember just seeing like the students and all the fans. And last year I went to a BC game, and that atmosphere was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean, if I really if I could go to BC, but obviously it would be tough. Yeah, that would be dream. Yeah.
Hey, it's a dream. It's also a goal, right?
Yeah,
You're working towards it. We talk a little bit about like what you do. You've played other sports in your past. Are you a gamer? Are you part of the stereotypical millennial generation where you sit on your Xbox all night?
Yeah, I used to be. Going into like high school, I definitely played a lot of NHL 14. I was really good at that one. And then going to high school, my mom kind of was like, you should quit gaming and focus more on hockey, and kind of gave me an ultimatum. So then I quit gaming, don't really game much anymore. Kind of when I'm at home at the Bill house, watch Netflix. I usually try to read like half an hour a day. So yeah.
More than I have in the past year. But anyway, Tyler, talk a little bit specifically about the games from last weekend. Obviously, we're up in Minot. You got us the win on Saturday. A tough loss on Friday after leading in the first period 3-2. Pretty much since you've been here, it's pretty much been a split almost every weekend. What do you see as a guy who came in the middle of the season? What do you see that this team is doing that's leading to the success we've had lately?
I think definitely comes from our practice habits. Definitely had some good practices, and guys are working hard, shooting the puck, and attention to detail has been high. So I think for us to be splitting, and since I've been here, definitely been 1-1 for the most part on the weekend. I think last weekend in Minot, I think the game plan after the first period of the second game, we just kind of settled down and blocked a lot of shots. When we had our opportunities, capitalized, and were able to just play some good defensive hockey and eke out the win there.
You made some absolutely tremendous saves this weekend. One specifically I remember in the third period, pretty much stopped 3 in a row, stretching your pad out to that right side. I mean, you had a really good night, but with 20 seconds left, one of their best shooters, Clevin, got you in the corner. Was there a little bit of an uh-oh factor when they cut it from 3-1 to 3-2 on Saturday?
To be honest, no, not really. I kind of usually when I kind of already know when I'm going in the period, like I'm not gonna let up anything this period, or like I got this. So I mean, 20 seconds left. I think 3-2. I wasn't that worried, to be honest.
Yeah. It's not to be worried, but it's just you're having a great game. 20 seconds, you let one in. It's tough. They were 6-on-5 though.
Yeah.
It was a power play for them. So absolutely. We'll move now towards this coming weekend. 3 games in a row, Thursday at home, Saturday at home, Friday on the road, all against the Austin Bruins. You've had a chance to start against the Bruins already once this year. Talk about what they do well.
Definitely have a lot of guys going to the net. I think their defensemen come up into the play a lot. Couple good guys who can go through the team and kind of dangle.
Yeah.
So just got to be careful of those few guys when talking about them in practice, making sure we're aware when they're on the ice, and just having good lines, kind of matchups, and just making sure we just shut it down defensively. I think if we were able to play really good defensive hockey, we'll have some success.
Maybe let up a little bit less than 49 shots on goal. That helped just a little bit, just a little bit here. And last but not least, we always talk about this. What is Coach Mantha's message been in practice this week specifically about the games coming up against Austin?
I think it's been similar to our last week against Minot. Austin plays similar to them in a lot of ways. So just kind of the same kind of flow from last week, and making sure we're attention to detail and being aware of certain guys on the ice, what they like to do, and kind of making sure we're angling guys properly and that type of stuff, and ready to go.
Alrighty, that'll about wrap it up here. Make sure to come down to the MAC for the games this weekend. Thursday is Free Kids Thursday. All kids under 12 years old get admission free into the game. And Saturday night is the return of $1 beer night. Come down to the MAC, $1 beer with any admission into the game. That'll about wrap it up from here. Thanks for listening. This has been the BlizzShow, brought to you by New Wave Productions.